Wait. How are you guys? Welcome. Got to get all my lighting on. My hair, I haven't had a haircut in like forever. Oh, okay. Kind of chilly here in Florida. I think it's down to 70 degrees. Hey, but I'm going to be going up to the Great White North for vacation here pretty soon. Thank you, everybody, for showing up, whomever that may be. I don't know. There's probably a lot of competitors for your time. And humble Gosney here, the Gosney Show at prime time, 8 o'clock. I don't know. Seems like the time that works for me, though. I don't know. It seems like dinner's done and things are kind of settling down around here. So it seems like 8 o'clock is a good time. Is this bad hair day still? Let me see. I don't know. I wanted to do this because I've had a number of people around me that have been kind of down and they get a little depression. Maybe it's the winter time. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe it's the change of season, the politics of the world. Who knows? But yes, but today we're going to talk positivity. A little update. I did want to tell for all of my Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog order people. I'm not certain I'm going to be able to get it out next week. The book, I think it will be delivered next Wednesday, and I'm going on vacation on Thursday. So it might be a week delayed in shipping out. So yeah, I start things with that downer. But what will be will be. I'll do the best I can. In the meantimes, I have a little presentation. I got a little organized. I got inspired. And I only like to come on when I have something to say and something to help y'all out with. And this was a little positivity exercise for us all, which I think we all need, don't we? And so let me see here. What I'm going to do is, let me see if I can do this. I'm going to try to share. Okay. Belle of the Bayou is here. Of course, she's here. And Lily is here. Good to see you. All right, present, share screen. So this is just for you guys. Personal message just for you. All right, so I've done a little exercise. Can you see this? Let me blow it up. Let's see, can you see there? Now here is just some little, to start us off here, I want to talk about some context, okay? Now, one of the things, this is I find this stuff and I put it together for y'all in an organized fashion. Can you hear me okay? Is everybody here? Belle, can you hear me? So we tend to pay more attention to negative events than positive ones. So we learn more from negative outcomes and experiences. And we make decisions based on negative information more than positive data. And this is called negativity bias. Negativity bias, right? Excited utterance, you're in the right place. You want a little positivity. I was watching that Maya trial. And it looks like Maya got some justice, like $250 million verdict against that hospital. But the thing is, what is negativity bias? Negativity bias is that we focus on negative events. Negative things are powerful and loud to us. Positive things are kind of quiet. It's like a whisper. Now, why is that? Why is that? Well, this is an evolutionary question because in evolutionary terms, our survival depended on us hearing loud and clear the things that can threaten us, right? And negative information is that stuff that can threaten us. So the positive stuff, okay, that's all well and good, but the stuff that kills us is negative, right? So over time, evolution will determine that those negative emotions are going to be much stronger within us. So first thing we need to do is be aware of that tendency. That is a human nature to understand that negative thoughts are much more positive. Okay, I'm going to skip now. What about toxic positivity? What do I mean by toxic positivity? All right, well, toxic positivity, it means to force a happy outlook all the time, ignoring real feelings. All right, so when I'm talking about being positive, or we're going to do some exercises to try to tamp down our natural negative impulses, we need to not do it this way. We don't just put a gun to the head of our inner feminine and say, give me joy. All right, that is not what I'm talking about. And for example, toxic positivity, forcing yourself to be happy, ignoring real emotions. No, I'm not talking about that. You feeling guilty for being sad, overlooking real problems. I'm not talking about that. True positivity is accepting tough times and emotions, but staying hopeful. Okay. Accepting tough times and emotions, accepting tough times and emotions, but staying hopeful. All right. So this is the key about what we're trying to accomplish here. Not lying to ourselves, being truthful to ourselves, but being truthful to ourselves first. Understanding being truthful means that our natural inclination is to pick up on negative vibes and amplify them, and that the positive vibes aren't going to get through. So remember that about yourself. That is a truth. I'm not saying deny that. I'm saying recognize it. Okay. Now this is a little chart that came through, and I don't know. I think what I wanted. I didn't bring this up. This was sort of in the same realm. Can you see that? Okay. Let me see. I'm going to blow it up a little bit better. Let me see here. Make sure you can see that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so I want to talk about this because this little thing was about character strengths and virtues. Identify and cultivate your core strengths. All right, and then it goes through a series of what I would call our, let's say, positive values. All right, and I think that there's a mistake to be made here on this little chart. And that is to think that somehow these things are innate to us. And there is an element, it's this whole, are we bred or is it fault or what is it, right? Well, I want to talk through these because some of these things are innate, maybe, but some of them also are choices. There's an element of choice in all these things. So what do I mean? Courage. Well, so courage is one of the least common positive virtues. See, now virtue, that's an interesting word because a positive outlook, I think, can be cultivated by acting in accordance with virtue. All right, listen to what I'm saying here. So, a moral life, a life that you are serving God, let's say put the God word in there, right? Or doing the right thing by your family, by your friends, by acting virtuous, you will be happier. Sometimes when you are unhappy, sometimes, and this is just, we're just talking about this issue, it's not because you have a mood or there's something bad going on or whatever. What it sometimes is your inner conscience telling you that you are acting not in accordance with your inner virtue. So I recommend to you that you act in accordance with your best virtues. You can think what you want. All right. You will think dark thoughts, but choose the positive, and choosing the positive will over time create happiness within you and contentment and peace. Now, so I think that's maybe the message I want to get through by this little slide here, because when you say identify and cultivate your core strengths, I'm saying act in accordance with these virtues when they are virtuous. So honesty, and obviously you guys know that I'm a big one about prepare is honesty and truth telling is a big part of who I am, right? But I work towards that, and that makes me happier. When I am not enacting in accordance with truth, I find that my life is worse. I'm worse off generally. I get unhappy. Problems get caused, and maybe it's a blessing that I'm a bad liar, because if I was a good liar, maybe I wouldn't be so obvious to me. But I'm very bad at that, and so I've made that, whether I don't know chicken and egg which one came first, but I find that when you try to treat the world in accordance with an honest face forward, that the world is much easier to deal with. It allows you to see much clearer. So, like this humanity thing, social intelligence, I think that that's sort of a jargon buzzword, okay? you hear that social intelligence. Well, I'm not really intelligent, but I'm socially intelligent, emotional intelligence. I think there's a little bit of garbage on that. However, kindness, kindness can be a virtue or it can be a failing. It depends on the situation. Sometimes love is establishing rules and discipline. If you love your child, you establish strong boundaries and punish them when they are doing wrong. Praise them and give them kindness when they are on the right track. Yes. So kindness, but when you treat evil with kindness, that is no virtue. But in the appropriate situation, it can be. I think that kindness is actually maybe a little bit overemphasized, that people judge others on this kindness thing, when in fact, kindness applied in the wrong situation is a problem. One second. I say I put this up more for I can talk about like virtues. Love is one that I'm working on. I'm reading C.S. Lewis's The Four Loves. I'm working on that one. So that's one I'm still working on. Okay. Well, what about justice? There's one about my justice and temperance, right? Well, let's see, fairness, teamwork, and leadership. Well, those are interesting. How about humility, prudence, forgiveness, and self-regulation? Well, again, humility is another one that I work really hard on, and that's a conscious humility. It's not one. It's not a false humility. Don't lie and say I'm nothing and I'm weak and all this stuff. Don't lie about it. Instead, choose it. And I always talk about my interactions with Justice Clarence Thomas. When I met him, he taught me this virtue of humility and conscious humility, and that is humility as a human being and recognizing your limitations as a human being, right? So when he approaches a legal problem, he says, I'm not worthy of answering this, and recognizing that I don't have all the answers and checkmating your natural human arrogance with a choice of humility, and then saying, okay, I recognize I'm limited and I'm not able to answer these things, but I'm going to move forward the best I can and work hard towards the best answer that I can do as a human being, recognizing my human limitations. And forgiveness, of course, a lot of this stuff is in Prepare. Have you all got Prepare? Forgiveness, that's a hard one too. These are hard calls, right? I mean, on the one hand, forgive, but don't forget. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself so that you don't hate. Hatred can destroy you. Hating somebody else, it's a sword that you wield by the blade. That's my mom always likes to say that, right? That's a good one. All right, wisdom, love of learning, perspective, judgment, creativity, curiosity. Curiosity is a good one. Naturally being curious, that's the key to learning. Good to see a pyramid. What do we got here? Hope, humor, gratitude, and we're going to talk a lot about gratitude tonight. Spirituality, appreciation of beauty and excellence. Okay. So these are just some virtues. Okay, let's keep rolling along. I want to just contemplate and say that you should be acting in accordance with our best in our virtue, and reach for that star, reach forward towards something better. And that is one key towards positivity, because if you act against those things, that is generally the path towards misery and unhappiness. All right. Let's see if I can, whoops. Hey, there's my little, how do you like that one? I like that. That's my intro picture, right? I love that picture. Reminds me of my friend Mirai. But this is the one. Okay, let's look at this one. You see that? So 6 tips to enhance your well-being. So here's some positive steps that you can actually take to increase your well-being, increase your happiness, increase the positive side, and get away from depression and negativity. Okay, gratitude journaling. Now that's interesting. So Write a journal. Keep it right. Now, here I wore my discipline and motivation shirt because do you want to discard your negativity? Is it a choice? Are you choosing instead to be negative? Because if you really want to move out, like, I can't force you to be positive. It has to be a choice that you take, something that you do for yourself, right? And gratitude journaling, so that's going to take some effort. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It helps you focus on the good in your life. Okay, so that's a positive step that you can do to make yourself a better frame of mind. And recognizing the negatives in you is much more powerful. So you have to take affirmative steps to make your worldview more positive. Strengths focus. Identify your strengths. Use them more in daily life. All right. Mindful moments. Spend a few minutes daily being present and aware. A walk, a meal, or even just breathing. Yeah. So the quiet times, we're so surrounded by media and bullhorns and electronics and all this stuff. I find that one of the things I really like about church is that there's no cell phone, there's no entertainment, there's nothing there. It's a moment in time once a week where you can contemplate your life in quiet, in mindful moments, in peace. Cherish those times. You don't constantly need to be checking your phone every second. In fact, what you need to do is consciously choose to put into your schedule, into your life, moments that you can separate and contemplate and think, right? It used to be we didn't have to used to do this because it used to be that we didn't have all these 24/7 monitoring of the world. But now, consciously choose to put those things in your day. Kind acts. Do something kind for someone else each day. It boosts your mood and theirs. And I'll say, the older I get, the more this is a gift to me. When somebody reaches out to me and asks for help or wants a listening ear or just anything, any opportunity that somebody can give for me to help them, boy, that's a gift that they are giving to me. Now, you have to be careful because kind people can be taken advantage of. And that's something you also need to be aware of and protect yourself against people that want to use your kindness. However, do look upon the act of giving as a gift to yourself. I mean, and I do. When I walk away, I don't expect somebody to give me something back. Or if I do, I think about it and I'm like, okay, I'm expecting that, but they have given me a gift by trusting me, giving me the gift of being a part of their problem and trying to help them. I think it's a wonderful thing. So be aware of kind acts and consciously reach out, constantly look for opportunities to help. Yes, and last, you're right. That's why I'm doing this stream, because it's not enough. We're talking positivity, but I want to talk like real meat and potatoes positivity. I'm talking about stuff. What can we do in our life right now to make our mindset a little bit more positive? Lord of the Ring, and over at Rumble, $5 Rumble rant. Thank you. Gosney, getting stuff together to head out for my friend's wedding tomorrow. Oh, that's fun. First time being one of the groomsmen. Wow. Very excited. Happy for my friend. He found a much better woman than he deserves. Right. Yes. Well, understood. And ladies, be that woman. Be that woman that's better than anybody can deserve. And then give that to the chosen man in your life, right? And then they will always be happy. That's something that you can do to make your man better, to make you, and that is a gift. It makes you a better person by giving that gift. So, and men, we need to do those nice things for our ladies. And, we're here for each other, our friends. Do kind acts. Do something kind for somebody else each day. It both their modes and theirs. And this is when people say, simping. I don't simp. But I recognize positive qualities in other people when I see them. And I verbalize that because we're so overwhelmed with negativity. All right. So 5, positive relationships. Spend time with people who uplift you. good company is a key to happy life. Boy, that's important too. If, one of the things is if somebody is around you and they're constantly dumping on you and trying to pull you down, make you miserable, that person is not your friend. Now, one thing for somebody to have problems, but if they're always putting the cynical and they want to convince you that you're delusional because you're positive, they're the realist. They're the ones that see the world all negative and see, I told you, and they just want to beat you down. That person is not your friend. Okay. A friend is somebody who is, and this is a Jordan Peterson little move, right? But I think it's wonderful because it helps me. A friend is somebody who's happy when you succeed and sad when you fail. Okay, now most people are not your friends. Most people are acquaintances. Secretly, they're happy when you go down. You're happy when you fail, right? They're secretly, or they're what's that? And they're mad that when you're happy, when you come in the office and you're happy, and they get mad and that's not your friend. When you get a success, you get promoted. Are they actually happy for you, or are they really secretly jealous? Achievable goals, and this is another. These are all great type. I'll put this together for y'all. So achievable goals, very important. Create small, realistic goals. Achieving them gives a sense of progress and satisfaction. Was I telling you guys this? I think I was, about how to deal with a big appellate record. Is you set little goals. Like when I'm dealing with a big project, I'll make a little tiny, tiny goal and achieve it, and then exceed it by a little bit. And when I do that, I'm success. Like I've read this and I read some more. That's way more than I thought I was going to do. Success is, instead, if you set the goal too high, right? And it's like, okay, I read all this stuff, but I didn't meet my goal. Now you're disappointed, even though you did so much. Set your goals a little bit of progress and exceed them. And that gives you little rewards as you go forward. All right. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like movies. Movies, when I have big expectations for a movie and I'm expecting great things, very rarely do I walk out of the movie happy and say, that was great. If it's great, I'm like, yeah, I expected that. All right. But the downside is great. Like, oh, this is terrible, right? If I go into a movie and I have very low expectations or no expectations, and it's a great movie, then I'm like, wow, that was wonderful. Much larger high. And if it's bad, it's like, well, I didn't expect much, right? So you're giving yourself the room to be happy about something, as opposed to setting the goal so high that the only thing that can happen is you're disappointed. Thank you, Salvador Dali Talk. I love you too. I try to give you stuff that's worthwhile watching. There's so much fog out there, right? And so let's keep moving. We got a lot of stuff. We got that one. So then I love this picture. Isn't that cute dog? This reminds me of my friend Marai's dog. Her first dog was called first dog was called Junebug, but he was like a German Shepherd. This dog, then she had a dog named Keister. And that looks like Keister right there. He's so cute. When you have a nice hat and someone's mentioned it, you feel nice. See there? Recognize when somebody's done something good. Say, good dog. Good dog. All right. So here's some stuff. Here's some little tactics, right? These are some more tips for you from stop negative self-talk. Start paying attention to the type of thoughts that run through your mind. After an event takes place, you might find yourself thinking like, I shouldn't have done that. This negative self-talk shapes how you think about yourself and others. A better tactic is to stop those thoughts whenever they begin. Instead of fixating on past mistakes that cannot be changed, consider what you have learned and how you might apply that into the future. All right, well, I'd change this a little bit, because I'll tell you, I have some ladies I know that like to watch my channel, and I'm fascinated by the ladies, of course, being the man that I am. And I've found that a lot of women have what they call the terrible hag inside their head that tells them all the time how nothing they are, how bad they are, and how they failed and how worthless they are. They have an inner voice. I think a lot of women, the inner feminine voice is very negative and tells them all kinds of negative thoughts about themselves. Now, the ladies justify this and say, well, I can't trust anybody else to be honest with me. I know I'm being honest with myself, and I'm just being hypercritical because I want to better myself. I want to better myself by being honest on all of my little flaws and picking at myself on all my little flaws and things. And that will make me a better lady. The hag in the head. That's right. You know, it always remember though in The Princess Bride, whenever I think about that concept, I think about when was it Princess Buttercup? And then the woman comes out and she says, boo, boo, filth, slime, right? Remember that? I love that scene, right? And that's the inner voice. The inner voice of the woman saying that she's nothing, tearing herself down from within. All right. And the justification is, well, I've got to be honest with myself. I'm doing. But here's the problem with that. Okay, you ladies need to listen to this. This is very important little wisdom. It's actually from Robert A. Johnson's book, She, that I learned this. And that is that little voice, listen to what it is saying precisely. Listen very carefully. Identify it for what it is. That's the hag telling me I'm worthless, right? Listen to what it is saying. Listen to it as clearly and as clear-eyed as you can. That hag in the head, like excited, so it says. Now, verbalize it. Say to yourself, okay, what did she just tell me? And then say to yourself, would I say that thing to my best friend? Would I say it? Would I say that to my best friend? If I want to help them, I want to help them. I want the best for my best friend. This is my best friend. I want her to the best of everything, right? What would I say to that person? Would it be what the terrible hag is saying to you? No, it would not be. If you said that, it would be very destructive. It's very cutting. It's very demeaning and demoralizing and negative, right? Would you say that to your little girl, right? Do you want to destroy? And the answer to that is most of the time, absolutely not. You wouldn't say that to your enemy, much less your best friend. So why are you saying it to yourself? Why are you saying it to yourself? Why are you allowing that hag to destroy you from within? Be your own friend enough to tame that hag and to translate what she's saying into something more positive. Okay, that's a little more feminine directed. And I just know that there's a lot of women that fall into that trap and they justify it. They justify the hag's nasty words to themselves. They are not treating themselves like the friend to themselves that they should be. We men want you to be the best you can be. Everybody wants you. Who wants to drag you down? Maybe only your enemies. Are you the enemy of yourself? Tame that hag. All right. Got it? That's one. Negative. Stop this negative self-talk. How about this one? Reframe the situation. How do you talk to yourself about events, experiences, and people plays a large role in shaping how you interpret events. When you find yourself interpreting something in a negative way, or only by focusing on the bad aspect of the situation, look for ways to reframe the events in a more positive light. This doesn't mean ignoring potential dangers or wearing rose-colored glasses. It simply means refocusing so that you give fair and equal weight to good events. And this goes back to that proclivity to emphasize the negative. Are you emphasizing the negative? Or instead, are you giving the positive side the balance? Right? That's sort of that glass half empty, glass half full. Well, both are true, but are you recognizing both in the event? Or are you only seeing the negative? Most likely is you're only seeing the negative because that's a human proclivity to see the negative. So actively search for the positive. Actively search for that glass half full. in whatever event that you're perceiving negative forces from, right? All right, let's see what else we got here. Now this is another. Let's see. This guy, whoever picked these out, did good. See there, I'm giving myself some positive self reinforcement because I worked on this and I wanted to give you this stream because I know a lot of people are struggling with negativity and depression and down times. So these are some little techniques. One of them is establish new patterns. When you find yourself ruminating on things, look for an uplifting activity to pull yourself out of this negative mindset. For example, if you find yourself mentally reviewing some unpleasant event or outcome, consciously try to redirect your attention elsewhere and engage in activity that brings joy. For a few more, here's like go for a walk, listen to upbeat music, read a good book. So what this is saying is if you are creating yourself a cycle, a whirlwind or of depression, if you are trapped in habits that are giving you negative feedback loops, you have conscious mind, you have the conscious will to change it. And how do you do that? You say, no, I can't because you are perceiving this thing. You're trapped. Recognize that you're trapped in a negative circle and take a positive action to break out of that circle. Establish a new habit. Something, because what you're doing now is feeding the negative feedback loop. So change your habits so that you can break out of the negative feedback loop. And I talked with a friend of mine the other day who has been through very deep depression. And I was talking to him about this stream and about depression and this sort of thing. And he had some good guidance for me. And I want to share it with you. And he's really a blessing in my life. And I will say that gave me some good advice. He said depression and negative thinking, let's say depression / negative thinking, is a mental state. A mental state. So what do I mean by that? Well, you cannot think yourself your way out of a negative mental cycle. So this is interesting. This is very interesting. Because what'll happen is you're depressed. So you sit in a room and you think through it. You're trying to think your way out of this depression. Trying to think your way out of the mental state, right? If I can just think through it, and you're paralyzed because you're stuck in a circle. But you can't think your way out of this mental state. What you must do is you must act your way out of the mental state. Change your behaviors. Maybe you're playing too many video games. Sure, we got one here. Maybe you're smoking too much weed, smoking weed generally. Maybe you're drinking too much. Maybe you're just, you're sleeping too much. Whatever you're doing, you've got a habit. And you're trying to think your way out of the negative mental state when in fact you need to act your way out of the mental state. So, okay, what I'm going to start doing is walking on the beach. And I've done this for myself, and it's hard. I'm not minimizing the difficulty in the amount of inner strength it takes to do this. It takes courage, it takes strength, it takes discipline and motivation, right? But for example, when I lost my job, which was one of the hardest things that's ever happened to me in my life, it was very hard on me psychologically for a lot of things, a lot of reasons. But when that happened, I made it because I knew that I'm subject to some depression. So every day I got up in the morning and I went and walked on the beach. We have a nice beach here in Ormond Beach, Florida, right? But I went up and did that. I walked on the beach, put my toes in the sand, in the water, breathed in the air, no cell phones, no nothing. Took an hour out of my day to go walk on the beach. And within 6 days, I was back to work and back in the grind, doing, being a productive husband like I should be, right? However, I think though that acting like that, Jacob Castro, I see you're both in Rumble and YouTube. You're all over the place. Jacob's everywhere. Good to see you. So maybe you've listened, like I'm listening to this music and it really speaks to me, man. And it's really negative music, right? Depressing. You're listening to Alice in Chains and you're going down, right? Too much grunge. Well, go listen to some upbeat disco. Get down on it, get down on it, right? Something like that. Something silly and goofy, but pretty much the thing is sometimes we are sponges for the emotions that are around us. Amateur iconoclast, yeah, you're taking me too literally. You aren't listening. I'm saying you've got to establish your own thing. If I was up in West Virginia, I'd be walking in those mountains every day. Boy, those mountains are beautiful. The Greenbrier Trail. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. We're going up there for Thanksgiving. So find the place. Yeah, the beach. Some people's never seen the beach. I know a lot of my Midwestern folks. ELO, right? Brainless happy music, right? Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm talking about. But change, sometimes you got to change. Right. I'm just suggesting find a habit, whatever habit that you've got yourself stuck into, and that's reinforcing your negativity, right? Change the action, change the scheduling, your actions that are visiting you. All right, I think you got the point. Let's see what else we got in the old slideshow here. Here's one. Here's another good one. These are good, aren't they? Savor positive moments. Because it takes more positive experiences to be remembered, it is important to give extra attention to the good things that happen. Where negative things might be quickly transferred and stored in your long-term memory, you need to make more of an effort to get the same effect from happy moments, that's for sure. So when something great happens, take a moment to really focus on it. Replay the moment several times in your memory and focus on the wonderful feelings the memory evolves. You got a promotion, you got a raise, right? Your kid did good. Got A's on his report card, right? You had a beautiful walk with your wife on the beach. Freedom ring, let freedom ring, right? I'm just saying that consciously choose to reinforce the positive things that happen in your life. Don't just take them for granted. Be humble and appreciative when you are given wonderful moments and rethink about them, right? All right, so I think that's another good one. Don't you? Let's see what else we got here. All right, now, so here, this is another thing I found today, which is kind of cool, doing the research for this stream. Here's some positive things. Here's some positive questions you can answer. So what when you're doing your little positivity journal that I was talking about, here's little positivity flashcards for yourself. So I don't have anything. If you're really in the hole, it's hard to think, I don't have anything good going on. Oh, my life sucks. Everything's down. Everything's bad. The negative emotions are so powerful, it just drowns out, and depression blinds you to everything's gray and you can't see the positive. All right. So look outside yourself. Here's a little set of positivity flashcards that force you to consciously choose to answer these questions and write it down and dwell on it. Reinforce the positivity. All right. So what is that? Well, let's look at some of these. Give a positive response. So tell about your last weekend. Okay. Well, maybe that was positive. Maybe it was bad. Maybe your dog died, right? But sometimes weekends are usually pretty cool, right? What has been the best day of your life? Ooh, that's a good one. Do you know? Do you have one? Boy, I'll tell you, when my son was born, that was pretty spectacular. Amazing, humbling. Getting married was a great day for me. Do you know what your best days were? Why not? You should think about those things. Tell about a time when you had fun. When I've actually, I write a lot, and I've got my entire life story written down, as well as my uncles and my aunts and everybody else. So we have I have a lot of family history written down. And when you write down your own history, it's amazing. Your life gets defined, or at least I did when I wrote it. All the major negatives in my life were emphasized. Those were the things that I remembered first. And it's like my life was a series of these negative events. And I had to kind of get rid of those things. I had to put them down and write them down and get them out there until I was able to see below that or above that. I don't know. See beyond that and see all the positive things it said. So by writing out the negatives and putting them away, it was able to clear the deck so that I could see the positives. So I could talk about the great days in my life, the times that I had fun by getting out the negatives in paper. So I didn't have to talk about them. And I could ask myself these questions. So here's a couple more of these cards. They're pretty cool. Talk about a time when you solved a problem. Talk about a time when someone made you feel special. Talk about a time when you made somebody else feel special. And if you can't remember, let's assume like you can't remember a time when you did that, go out there and do it tomorrow. Or as soon as you're able, right? Get off your duff and go do it, because that's in your control, right? You could do that. You could make somebody's life better, happier tomorrow, couldn't you? What do you think? Let's look at another one. I've got one more set here. Talk about a time when you completed something. I love finishing my books. That's my favorite. I like getting it out. And can't wait to send you Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog and get it in people's hands. It's like accomplishing something. I think that's wonderful. Finishing up a book. Or talk about a time when you finished what you started. You ever heard that? It reminds me of that Van Halen song. Come on, baby, finish what you started. I think they were talking about something else, but talk about a time when you created something. See there? Does this sing to me? Yes, it does. Talk about a time when you made a good choice. What are you especially good at? What are your skills, strengths, or talent? Name 3 things you're good at. Actively do these things for me and do them for you. And then, of course, the Serenity Prayer, which I love because you're saying, okay, yes, this is all positive stuff. But remember, we're all mortal. We all are born, live a life, and die. We've given a window in time for which we can be conscious and we can choose our path. It's a very small point of time. And within that life, we're very limited. But within that limited life, we do have a range of choice. But the Serenity Prayer allows us to choose the path. It allows us to find the path forward, right? So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Because if you cannot change something, expending efforts towards trying to change it will make you miserable. Okay? Same thing with if you can change something, then have the courage to change it. If you're down in a hole, you're in a depression, do these things I'm telling you, discipline and motivation. Choose to get yourself out of that hole by implementing some of these pathways, right? Just a suggestion. What do you think? Think so? Maybe no. I don't know. But Brucey is all about the Serenity Prayer, as you well know. So if you don't have it, I've still got, we're definitely going to have some hardcovers, very few left, but I love that prayer. I know the font is so pretty. It's called, oh, okay. You like the font of that last slide. Yeah, I did too. I thought it was pretty cool. I have this stuff, and when I find little things like that, I clip and save them into my little file of happy thoughts and good things and entertaining things. And what do you know? I've just always done that. And now they're coming in quite handy because I've I use them in my streams now, and it's pretty neat. And I've got a whole collection of funny dog pictures and happy dog pictures and things like that. Some people don't understand me. I'm like, why are you putting a dog picture there? Because it makes me happy. All right. Anyways, thought I would share that with you tonight. It's 8:44. If you guys don't have any questions, thank you very much, Lord of the Reeve, for being here. And thank you for the replay crew. This is one you can bookmark and send to your friends, right? Watch this. Maybe you got somebody in your life. Maybe the good thing that you do for them in your life is send them this stream, because maybe they need a little help to get out of their hole. And then you've done something good for somebody, right? If you've helped them. Humvee, you're welcome. I'm glad. And I get a lot of positive feedback, and I appreciate it. And I focus on the negative. This is a human veil, but I recognize that it's me doing that. That negative comment, that negative chatter, right? Or that person that said this comment that I took the wrong way. Very difficult, very difficult. But, that's why we need each other. in this, I was actually reading about love in C.S. Lewis, talks about us needing love and need love, like our children need love. They need love. And do we criticize our children for needing love? Absolutely not. Need love as a form of love, a needy form of love, is not unworthy. It's not something to feel guilty about. It's human nature. We all need love. So ask for it, give it and ask for it. And don't feel guilty that you are needy for love and respect and kindness. Those are things that we all need. We need it just like the baby needs the bottle and the baby needs the love. We are in that same place. We're basically big babies, right? I mean, we're grown up, but we still have that need within us. All right. Well, thank you, Lily. And I thank you for being here. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Share it with your friends. This is one of those, I got a lot of streams in the past, and I do these things for posterity. I hope that the words that I'm talking about, they're not like rooted in some current event or some particular thing. But I mean, maybe in 10 years, somebody could come back and watch the same stream and say, that's a good point. Thank you, Lady Onosai. Thank you. Love you guys too. All right. I think I'm going to cut it off at this point. And I'm not sure what the streaming schedule is. I will say one positive thing. Steve Hayward, my buddy, Steve Hayward is brilliant academic, and one of the people I really admire, and is early supporter on the stream. I interviewed him a while back about his books and stuff, but he's going to come on and he's going to talk about hopefully, and I think it's December 4th or 5th. I have my Genesis Part 2 with Peter Gabriel, the Prague years. And I'll tell you, I am not the Prague guy. I mean, I like it, but being able to distinguish great Prague from bad Prague is pretty hard. I have my guess, but so I still owe you all a Peter Gabriel era Genesis album ranking. So when I was doing this, I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to these and listen to them. And I have my guesses. I have the ones I prefer and the songs I prefer. And I have my little ranking, but I'm like, all you real hardcore Prague Genesis fans are going to laugh at me and my ignorance. So I was like, who do I know who's a real Prague fan? Steve Hayward. Steve Hayward is a huge Prague fan. So I invited him on, and he's agreed tentatively to come on probably December 4th or 5th. So if nothing else between now and then, if I'm sure I'll be on probably once or twice between now and then, but you can look forward to that stream. And what else? So things are good. All right. God bless you all. Have a good night. All right.